Hey, you busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. Right before I called you, I made the mistake of going through social media. I hate the fact that the very place that I can find comedy and some enlightenment is the very same place that can bring me to a state of sadness that I did not feel prior to being on there. And it made me just think about the importance of protecting your energy. If we are not careful and continue to consume the negativity on social media, the news, the things that's going on in the world, we are going to be mentally exhausted, emotionally depleted, and just overwhelmingly cautious and sad, and all things that just should not be. The reality of the situation is the world is getting worse. It's not going to change until we really have a unison wake up call and say, okay, this has to change. Enough is enough. We can blame whoever's in government at the time. We can blame whatever we figure out the closest thing is to blame. But the reality is, until it changes, we have to mentally, emotionally protect our energy. I hate the fact that it's no longer the quote unquote good old days where you knew just stay out of that area. Don't wear that particular color. Don't, kind of, we just knew that there were cut off places. Like, I'm from New York. There were certain places that we knew, it's probably your best bet not to go ahead and go over there. It's not going to be good. And we don't have the privilege of having those isolated, okay, stay away from that neighborhood, that particular color. This time of night is the time it usually happens. We don't have the privilege of that no more. It's happening in your good neighborhoods, in the good schools, in average locations, Walmarts. It's like, oh my gosh. So that invisible kind of taper that we put out in our mind and into the world, that it only happens over there. When you usually look like the news station and you hear the person say, it usually doesn't happen in these kind of neighborhoods. It's happening there now. And so there is this thin line between being so afraid of what's going on that all you want to do is go to work, go back home, lock your door as tight as you can. It's outrageous what's happening. And if not careful, your very source of entertainment could be your very source of depletion. Mothers doing stuff to their children, fathers leaving children in cars. It's like, the racism that's being, publicized on a whole nother platform. The exhaustion thereof is like, oh my goodness. And we can be naive enough to feel like, okay, we can change a few things in government. We can lobby, we can protest, we can, just change a few higher ups around and it will change. But I don't think that's going to do it. And I don't want this conversation to be a W downer. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I just literally scrolled through. I just wanted to laugh. I just wanted to find something comedic, lighten the mood, kind of entertain me in the meanwhile. And not even 3 to 4 strolls in, it's a rest in peace. It's something. And it's just like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in my energy being drained to that degree. And social media itself is not the problem. Social media is just the new way of grandma watching 10 o'clock news. Because we're not plugged at a TV saying, turn that up, let me see what happened. Ooh, we're not there. We're actually turned into our social media platform of choice. But we have to be careful not to consume that all the time. It would really rewire how you feel without you even being aware of it. And it could be as simple as, detox a couple of times. Maybe not Morning, noon, and night, look at social media. Maybe just one time during lunch, that's just it. Maybe, you can even do the outskirts of, there's just certain people I'm not going to follow, certain things I just don't want to see. But social media is so catchy that even if you try to ignore it, certain people are going to tag you in something, send you in something, direct message. You be like, I really didn't want to hear that piece. I can't. And it's almost like protecting your energy is going to have to start being your new full-time job. Because you cannot afford to start walking around. If not careful, you can start breeding some hatred you didn't even know you had. I low-key started feeling this really, really passionate anger towards police. A mixture of anger and hate and a mixture of sadness and fear. I don't know how to feel when I see blue lights no more, to be completely honest with you. Thank God that I know personally some police officers that I can know. All of them are not the same. But what a time it is to have chosen to protect and serve and be a police officer in this time. I feel terrible. You went through all this training, and for certain people to not do it and take on this particular job in the nature that you do, and now all of y'all get a bad rap, I'm sure that is a slap in the face. But it happens in every culture. It happens in every race. It happens with gender. It just, a few people don't carry it the way that it should be. That's more highlighted than the overall population. And now what do you have? The stereotypical, emotional, it's just the worst ever. And I hate it. I hate that we live in a world that you have to watch children be taken away from their parents and detained. I just saw this one particular post, and that's what started the downhill. I should have stopped after that. But seeing children crying and reacting because their parents were seized. It was an immigrant kind of raid that went on, and so they didn't have anyone to pick them up after school, so they spent the night in the gym. Now let me go ahead and tell you this. I have a passion for children that just does not allow for that to be okay with me. You see other things with police officers, with other ethnicities. It's really difficult to watch that mass murderers can pretty much be delicately handled as if, they were butterflies, but let an African American or someone else that's a minority be handled in a way that looks like they were the mass murderer. This is going to pretty much be our world. And I don't say that in a way to be negative. I say it in a way with, what are you going to do to combat? The negativity is increasing. The negativity is, I made a decision long ago that I'm not watching the news. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to watch TV. Okay? Netflix is all I pretty much was needing. Now it's like, dang, the very place I wanted to connect, to family or to kind of like post my kind of stuff, it ain't even people I'm following. I went through the explore page in Instagram, and it's like, not careful, it creeps up on you. So maybe I need to do a better job at protecting my energy, because it's just certain things I can't watch. I had a friend send me something, and I could see the title was pretty much a father was being detained as he was holding his child, and I was like, I can't watch that. It's not going to do no good for me. I already know. But then it's like this silent responsibility of, well, what are you going to do about stuff like that? Or, how can I make a change? So it's this thin line between, I'm protecting myself because I don't want to watch things like that. But then again, who is protecting the people who are victims of those situations? And this is pull because I am an advocate inside and out. But there's this helplessness of, what can I do? So I don't have a defeatist mindset where it's like, you know what, the government may not listen to me, or, I can go to every police station in the whole entire world, say, can we just do better as a people? And, as a community, can we just reconnect the community back to you protecting and serving? I can do all that, and may or may not work, but what I will do, and the commitment that I can make, is to let us know, to get on the phone and call up the people that I can reach and say, protect your energy. Because if not careful, the things that you are visually consuming will shape your world. You'll start to dislike people because of what you see. You'll start to grow a hatred that you didn't even know you had until you saw a few posts too many. And what we just need to recognize is, out of all the things that's happening in the world, the news will always be a series of bad news occurring. I wish that it was cool to just, highlight the great things so that we can have a balance. Let us buffet this sadness. Let me take a little bit of, oh, you graduated. Oh, you was the first to do. Oh, okay. With a side of, oh, okay, that's happening in that area. Rest in peace. My condolences. How can I assist? But we don't get that opportunity. It's very rare that there will be a blog. If a blog just was, I'm just going to go ahead and tell about all great things that happen all day long in all parts of the world, it will be 0 followers to the 0 degree. And because we can't put our energy and the responsibility of handling that into anyone else's hands, we need to do it for ourselves. I can't even imagine the mindset that our ancestors and generations prior to us had to have to get over not fearing all police officers, to get over the fact that they had to sit in the back, just that they were pretty much really handled in a way that just showed nobody cares about you, and this is absolutely acceptable. At least we live in a time that it's like, this is not right, and we're trying to speak up, we just don't know the way to do it. So until we find that sweet spot, until we find that, oh, okay, you know what? This is how we can make the change. In the meantime, we got to protect ourselves. You have to protect your energy. You have to protect against, okay, if I'm going to be a part of the solution, I don't want to grow angry to the point that it starts to manifest into hatred. Because it's real easy to slip down in that after you start seeing the things that's posted on these social media platforms. We have to be careful. So until we change as a people, until we change as a state, country, whatever it needs to on a grander scale, until we change in that aspect, we have got to make sure that we are not consuming all day long everything bad. You are consuming poison and thinking that you're going to produce something different. It weighs on you. We were not made to have that, consume that all day long. So this conversation, I'm going to cut short because it's not a brighter day to it. I don't have hey, we can just go ahead and change it. But what I will say is, if you feel as compelled as you do in any other area, if you have that little Martin Luther King in you, some of that Malcolm falls on you, if it fell on you, what you need to go ahead and do is ask God, what do I need to do to affect change on a broader scale? I already know I can do it on a one-on-one, on an individual, on a community basis. I want us to protect our energy. Please don't let this world just beat you down with all kinds of things bad, and that's just your day in and your day out. Please don't let that happen. We already have our own setting spoonfuls of negativity, whether it be the job, whether it's some family member that you're dealing with, whether it's finances, whatever it is. We have our own spoonful. We don't need to be reading and consuming what's going on in another person's life, but we still don't need to be desensitized to what's happening and the unfairness thereof. So if I can give anything, if I can help in any kind of way, if you feel led to do something, please do it. So I feel led to go ahead and let people know, protect your energy while you're making a change. Protect your energy and try not to let that grow into hate. Protect your energy and don't consume that. Don't pull a chair up to that table all day long. Please. You don't need to feel heavier than what life already has. It was hard enough back in the days to see what they went through, and they didn't even have a consistent reel of, oh, this is happening bad, that's happening bad, that's happening bad. After a while, what do you think is going to be? Just, you can't produce anything good by digesting that all day long. Please combat that with finding something to laugh at. Please combat that with doing something, maybe volunteering your services, maybe making someone else feel great. But we have to find a productive way to positively combat the poison that we are being exposed to. This is outrageous. And if nothing at all, let's start with us. Let's start with our family. Let's start with our community. And let's really start trying to make a change. Inner circle, outer circle, and kind of work there. I think sometimes when you think outer circle going in, it feels defeatist. So maybe inner circle out is the motion we need to work. But I pray that whatever God put on your heart to do, even if it's making someone else feel better about, you know what, I know it's tough times, but we're going to make it through. We're going to make it through. We have to. We're living this life to live, not to keep drinking poison all day long. Make the necessary adjustments. Make the changes that need to be changed. Encourage somebody else when you feel discouraged. And let's start going ahead and just making a change. Inner circle out. And that's the conversation I wanted to have, because I needed to personally get this off of me. I was like, man, I just took 10 minutes, and then between that, I wanted to get some laughter and find something to, kind of make the time pass. But how did I slip into the feeling this sadness? That wasn't the intended goal. So I personally picked up the phone to go ahead and just get this off of me. And I want to encourage everyone else to do that same thing. Taylor Swift it, shake it off. No, we're not going to just turn a blind eye to the fact that, yeah, it's getting real out there in these streets. It really is. My goodness, what are we supposed to do? But if we keep in that mindset, it creates anxiety. It creates a panic. And that's not combating against it. Maybe we just need to do something different for ourselves so that we could teach other people how to do something different for themselves, and so on and so forth. Inner circle out is the motion. So pick up the phone, share this conversation with someone else, but just let's start planting what it is that we want to start seeing. And I pray that there is a calm that goes with, it's a ripple effect throughout our actions. And that God really consumes people with comfort, because more than ever we need it. Give yourself a huge hug. Close your eyes and spiritually feel God hugging you. And know without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to be okay. It's been bad before and people have been able to make greatness out of it. It's probably going to continue to be bad. But you know what? Good will prevail. And I believe in me. I believe in us. But more than ever, I trust God. And His purpose will prevail. Deep breath. One more. Oh, my goodness. We got this, because God got us. But listen, I ain't going to hold you. I just wanted to go ahead and share that. Let me go ahead and start figuring out how I'm going to rearrange this kitchen real quick. And I'm going to call you back. All right, I'll talk to you later. Later.